This family is anointed. The Greenleafs are anointed, and even though they're going through very human experiences, even though they are climbing up some very, very difficult mountains, what I really love is that there is a individual call in all of our lives, and there is a collective call on the Greenleaf family. And watching us continue to look upward while we're crawling toward our own personal healing and salvation is I find there's great dignity and honor in these people, and we didn't talk a whole lot about the siblings and what we do when the parents start to it seems that they fracture, and we joked a little bit about how do about mama and daddy, because they are the pillars. They taught us. They are you see so much of us in them. And when we have to start to pull up and grow up and find what our position is, what are we supposed to do, and we start to bond and connect and lift one another up in our individual ministries, which I think is also neat. Awesome. Yes, please. Please.
I was so pleased to see the sense of family on the screen that really, just jumps off the screen. You see the love, you see all of that. What's going to happen this season is that within the family unit, we see each other in certain ways, with certain expectations, certain, presumptions. This is who they are, this is how it's going to be. But as the season goes on, you're going to see us look at each other with all those same ideas, but start to discover new things in the people that we already know, and discover new things within ourselves, each of us. And for each of us, part of it has to do with becoming more humble. And in that nakedness, it's like the Garden of Eve. No, but I mean, in the Garden of Eve, you know what I mean? Like they're all innocent and everything, and without shame. And then, if they do something and they sin and they have to cover themselves. And they see themselves differently. And they see all the flaws, and they see the chinks, and they see the armors. So you're going to see us discover new things in ourselves and in each other this season. But if we discover too much, then there won't be a need for another season. So, we're not trying to wrap it up this quickly. I just want
And y'all do want there to be another season, right?
You hear your parents talking nasty. Deal with Rochelle Cross.
Oh, come on.
I got PTSD now. Daddy talking nasty.
And you're leading your own flock, so I know that I can look forward to Jacob's.
Jacob, the father, and trying to love his little boy differently, or at least he believes differently than the way he believes his father loved him. Trying to be a father and raise a teenage daughter and not strangle her. And at the same time, literally not strangle her, but also not strangle her, not hold her so tight that all you do really is push her away. So that delicate balance between, again, really understanding now what the pressure and responsibility really has been for this man, knowing it from a different perspective now that he's in these real interesting positions with his own family and his own children, and even with his own, with his own wife. So it's like, oh, okay, now I get it. So that judgment that we all have and that ungrateful thing we have as children when it comes to our parents, until we find ourselves in the same position, and it's like, oh, so that forgiveness and that mercy we need to have and the appreciation is something that Jacob is finally starting to understand. Now being the leader of this new church, it's like,
your own church as
so
well.
that's what he's had to deal with
Right.
and manage all these years. Now on top of that, his wife's trying to be the first lady, and she's trying to be a mother and a wife, and she's trying to make sure that this other former first lady ain't cozying up too tight, especially because her man ain't there no more. So be careful with that. So it's a lot going on as well. You know, you're trying to, and that's the thing, the whole dynamic of this show and of this family is how we're all trying to juggle all these things at the same time, hoping, you know, we don't lose sight of it all and, you know, lose a handle on it. But naturally, especially when you start handling too much, something hits the floor. And how do you put it back together without screwing everything up, but still maintain your relationship here at the same time? So everybody's on this journey to do better and be better, but we know we got a long way to go. So, you know, so it's just Jacob's trying to work all that through. And so it's going to be interesting to see how well he does with some things. And that's what I love about Jacob, is he always surprises you. There's always something to be proud of, and there's always another way to fall in love with him. At the same time, he's still a brother trying to work it out.
Well, you know what? Those hinges.
He makes his mistakes.
The door off the hinges. How many of you have all said that to your teenager?
And I threw that in there. That wasn't scripted.
Did you?
No, there's so many
We
things.
said that in my house about 2
There's so
months
many
ago
things that
with our
naturally come
16
through
brother.
us. Yes, and that's what's great too. They allow us to, you know, for some of the things that work, they just happen, you know, naturally, just by all of us just kind of being in the moment with each other.
I love it. And what about Charity's character?
Poor Charity. There's just a lot happening, and you know, with her dealing with the grief, you're gonna find she finds herself lost. She finds herself lost in the grief. She finds herself lost with her family. Like, where's her place? Everything is falling apart. I think that parental structure falling apart is very damaging for her. I mean, you saw her. She said, I'm going to come from a broken home at 30.
And y'all miss me saying, what are you, 12?
I think that's very real for her, and that has a huge impact on how she proceeds with dealing with everything else. And there's a rock bottom before she gets back up again.
Now, let me ask you, since we still have you, you sang a song for the soundtrack last season, and I have been told that music was not something that you planned on doing, despite your family background. I mean, you are a Winans. Can't go anywhere without, I mean, come on. For real, though. Who's from Detroit?
From Detroit, hey! What up?
What up, though?
Do they look at you like, oh, for real, you get on TV and now you do this? Like, what?
No, well, you know, my dad never pressured us to sing. And singing just was not, I didn't love it. My passion, my parents took us to the movies every weekend. And I would stare at that screen and just think, oh, God, I can do that. I want to do that, since I was a little girl. And so that was my focus. I got my BFA in acting, my MFA in acting. That was all I wanted to do. So imagine me when I get this role and they said I had to record. I said, well, ain't that something? Now what? Now how do I do that? Growing up in a family that's all they ever did, and that I had no desire, no passion. But what it showed me is, I knew I had a gift to do it, but I just didn't want to do it. And that was God saying, you need to use every gift that I give you. Amen. It's not for you, it is for others. And so now I tell people, whatever gift you have, work it all. Because in the beginning, it was sink or swim. It was a challenge. And now I'm growing in my confidence there, but that was a very, very hard piece for me. And so while I didn't love singing or have a passion, I'm grateful that I've been able to do what I do on the show, and I give God all the glory. I'm just trying to step into whatever doors He opens.